Hey guys and gals, happy Friday. Welcome to Reaction Gap. Today's episode, we're going to talk about preparing for retirement. Um, so, is time on your side? Okay. Um, what if I told you that the biggest retirement risk isn't inflation? It isn't Social Security, and it isn't the stock market. Okay. I think it's time, or more precisely, your measurement of time or your calculation of that time. Okay. So most people think that retirement is about reaching a certain age. I think retirement is actually reaching financial freedom before life reaches you. So here's today's question: is time on your side? So I see this as a common mistake. People spend decades just preparing to buy a home, but almost no one spends decades preparing to stop. So you work all your life to wait to stop, mostly without preparing. What we've been taught about retirement, what most Americans think retirement is, if and when they are actually ready, and what you can start doing today, even if you're 30, 40, 50, or even 60. Okay. So think about your grandparents. Many worked for one company. I see that with clients where they've been in companies for 20, 30, 40 years. I've even seen higher. Um, and they retired with their pensions, not Social Security, with pensions. Um, Healthcare was a lot cheaper. Homes cost a fraction of what they do today. Um, but today, most people, they don't have a pension, a 401k that they barely understand. You have choices of your 401k in terms of going moderate or more aggressive, and who tells you if that's the right decision or not based on your age or other financial data? No one really. Um, Rising healthcare costs. Our life expectancy is a lot longer now, and inflation is eating away your purchasing power. So retirement isn't getting easier, right? It's becoming your responsibility, right? So the biggest retirement myth, the biggest lie we've accepted is this: I still have time. Okay. Time feels unlimited when you're young. Then suddenly, and I'm going to say this, suddenly, like pretty much overnight, you're 45. Um, the kids are almost grown or grown. The mortgage, guaranteed, is still not paid off. And now every year matters, right? You're at a point where you start thinking about retirement more and more, um, and kind of almost hoping that, hey, is it coming soon enough? And then the other part of that equation is, am I ready? Right? So Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Um, Whether he was right or wrong doesn't really matter. But the math certainly over the years has proved it, right? Um, so let's talk reality. The average American approaching retirement has nowhere near enough saved. And this is just from talking to clients and people and family. The ones that do admit it and admit it correctly, they don't have enough saved. Many experts estimate you'll need around 70 to 80% of your pre retirement income each year. So, making math easy, if you make $100,000 a year, you need 70 to 80,000 each year for retirement. If you retire in your 60s, and based on longevity and how long people last these days, if you last 25, 30 years in retirement, do the math. So comment below. Tell me if you're one of the people that actually prepared, don't have to divulge financial information, but or more so, are you actually in this scenario that I'm explaining, right? And that's just to maintain a similar lifestyle, right? So you ask yourself, how many people actually know the number? How many have calculated what they'll actually need? Most haven't, even though there's programs that help you do that. I'm sure you can just Google it and you come up with some kind of retirement strategy calculator, right, of some sort. So, lifestyle inflation. I've talked about this in another episode where, I specifically say, do not, under any circumstance, do this. One, pay off, um, accounts slowly, but simultaneously enhancing your debt. So what most people do is they they get a raise, but automatically the more you make, the more you spend. Um, and then they think, okay, let me just get a monthly payment I can afford. Sure, you can afford it now. What if your lifestyle changes and you're actually putting your hand in the cookie jar in a sense, rather than saving those extra funds? No, you're just spending it. So I mean, that's what I think quietly destroys retirement: lifestyle inflation. Every raise becomes a bigger house, a newer car, more subscriptions, more vacations, bigger monthly payments. Instead of increasing investments, we increase expenses. Your income goes up, savings stays the same, if you even have some sort of savings. So, in the end, is Social Security enough? Many Americans expect Social Security to carry them through retirement. But the reality is, it was never designed to replace your entire income. It was just a supplement, right? So, there's living supplement scenarios where if you're unable to work or you're in an accident, a supplemental income is, off the top of my head, it's probably 30%. We just said that you need 70 to 80%. So do the math. It's probably 30% or less of your actual income. So will it be enough for the lifestyle that you want? Your current lifestyle, a reduced lifestyle, right? And let's talk about home equity. That's a big one. As someone who spent decades in mortgages, I have to ask, is your home an investment? Home ownership builds equity. That's a tremendous advantage. That's what part of that American dream of building wealth through home ownership. But equity alone doesn't pay your bills unless you have some sort of strategy. Retirement planning isn't just about investments, it's about how every financial decision works together. So here's something I put together: 5 questions that everyone should ask themselves. Ask yourself these questions, but honestly, could you stop working tomorrow? How many years can I survive financially, of course? Do I know exactly how much retirement will cost? And am I investing consistently? Is my money working harder than I am? If those questions make you feel uncomfortable, it's probably a good thing. Because discomfort, it creates action, right? Or reaction, you know? And I probably mentioned this in every video. Better to be proactive than reactive. And this has a lot to do with that, right? So the good news, the good news is uh, it's never too late to improve. So starting today is always better than starting next year. So start increasing your retirement contributions now. Build emergency savings. Take your income and don't spend it. Pay what you have to pay, the necessities, right? Save what you can, and whatever is left over, that's when you could spend. And obviously, don't overspend. I think we'll probably do a video on overspending and credit card limits and things like that, because that's part of the inflation situation I'm talking about, right? So build emergency savings, meet with a qualified financial professional, and review your plan every year, especially if there's changes, and there could be, right? So small little improvements repeated over time can become life changing, even if you're in that upper age bracket, right? So here's what I believe: retirement isn't about quitting work, it's about creating options. The freedom to choose, to travel, spend time with your family, volunteer, um, you know, do things for yourself, hobbies that you were unable to do during all those years you spent working. I don't know, start another business or wake up because you want to, not because you have to. So wake up because you want to, not because you have to. But that in itself should be real now. Waking up because you want to or because you love what you do. Um, so that's what I meant by people waiting till retirement to do the things they want. Maybe ingest some of that uh, into your daily activities today if you can. Because time is either your greatest asset or your biggest enemy. But that decision should start at least today. If today's episode made you think differently, um, hit the like button. It'll help with the channel. Subscribe to Reaction Gap, because every week, I'm challenging the conventional wisdom, or at least bringing it out into the open, about money, business, culture, just life, you know. Um, Leave a comment below, but this time, leave a comment below specifically answering this question. How prepared do you honestly feel for retirement on a scale of 1 to 10? The comment could be 1, could be 10, just a number. No short stories. Just to kind of get a consensus of where people are really at. I mean, I'd like to hear your thoughts. But until next time, as I always say, question everything and question often. Question everything, question often. And remember, the best time to prepare for retirement, it was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Thank you for your time. I appreciate all of you that made it to this point. And thank you again. Have a good day.